Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Sophia Parola with the Garden State Film Festival, and I have the pleasure of interviewing Bonnie McKee. She has made the short film April Kills the Vibe. We got the writer, director, editor, producer, and lead actress in the film here. Bonnie, thank you so much for joining me and talking about the film.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited to interview you.
Mhm.
Before I get into my questions, I'd love for you to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about April Kills the Vibe.
Yeah, my name is Bonnie McKee. I'm a first-time filmmaker, and this film is based on a true story of when I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm 10 years sober now, and it's about a dark night that I had in my days of drinking where I was sexually assaulted, and the phone call that took place between my friend that I had gone out with the next morning. And it's kind of a dark story, but I'd say it's an extremely dark comedy, is what it's about.
Well, I love the description. I hate that this has happened, but I love that you took your story and made something beautiful out of it. And
Yeah,
so I want to thank you for sharing your story and it's very relatable. I definitely related to it myself, so I can't wait for audiences to see this.
thank you. And I'm sorry to hear that, but it is a sadly common story that we hear.
Absolutely. And everything about it. I mean, I can't wait to talk to you about the making of this. First question is, what was it like for you writing something obviously that came from the truth, so personal? What was that writing process like for you?
Well, it's my first time screenwriting. So I'm a songwriter by trade. I write pop songs for the likes of Katy Perry and Britney Spears and Avril Lavigne, and so it's a different medium for me to work in. And I felt like it was kind of cheating to write something that was based on a true story because I already knew how it would end, you know. But so it made it a lot easier to tell the story. And it was surprisingly a really cathartic experience. This is something that happened a really long time ago. And I've had lots of therapy and I have a great support system and everything else. So I really didn't expect it to bring up as much as it did. But it was a very healing experience for me, definitely. Difficult at times, but I'm really glad that I did it and I feel like I got some closure.
Wow. I love that. And I'm amazed that this is your first time filmmaking and the film is as beautiful as it is. And you like tackled it all the way, being wearing all these different hats in this film. Can you talk about what it was like, being the director while you were lead actor on the screen, also editing yourself? What was it like wearing all those different hats?
Oh my God, the hardest part was trying to direct myself and not being able to watch it on a screen because I'm very particular about framing and everything else. But I had a great DP who I trusted. But I wish that could have watched every single take back because once I started editing it, I started noticing things that I wished had been a certain way. So I think I learned a lot about that. And there are future projects that I'd like to do where I will probably be directing myself as well. I learned that I need to make enough time in my shoot day to watch things back and make sure that I got everything I needed.
Hmm. Wow, amazing. And what was it like playing both April and Lola? I mean, like two opposite sides of the coin, which I don't know, was that challenging? Was it fun? What was it like for you?
It was so much fun. And the reason that I chose to do that is because, when I started writing the screenplay, I didn't originally plan on playing both parts. But when I was thinking about Lola's character and her point of view, I kind of realized that I had been on the other side of that coin before. I had been a friend that had an alcoholic friend and didn't, not that I didn't believe her, but I blamed her. I've done my own fair share of victim blaming and not knowing how to react in a terrible situation. And so it was important to me to play both characters, not only to learn to forgive Lola, but also to learn to forgive myself and to kind of hold myself accountable for my actions. So it was very powerful in that way.
I love that. And I have to say, like, your honesty and everything from you making this film and talking to you right now about being on both sides is very refreshing. And it just shows like the maturity and healing that you have went through in order to admit these things.
Thank you.
I hope people watching this can, take back and was I on the other side? Which side do they like lie on?
I mean, it's complicated, and that's the thing about sexual assault is that it's not just the assault that matters. It's all of the things that happen after the fact, and we don't always know the right things to say in these very difficult situations, where everyone feels guilty, everyone wants to play the blame game, and it's hard to know who to blame. But at the end of the day, there's really only one person responsible for this, and that is the perpetrator. So
Absolutely. I mean, I know that you probably have a lot of hopes for this film, but being at the Garden State Film Festival, what are you hoping audiences take away from watching April Kills the Vibe?
Just what you had mentioned, which is just thinking about our parts in these situations and how we handle them. I hope that someone can feel seen. I hope that someone can take a look at their own maybe drinking habits or whatever it is, because I mean, this was when I first decided to get sober. It didn't stick the first time, and it often doesn't. But it was when I really started looking at my life and being like, something's got to change. So it was a really important milestone in my life that I'm glad I hit, even though it was a rock bottom. And so hopefully it can encourage someone else to take good care of themselves and learn to love themselves and love their friends too.
Absolutely. I love that. And I mean, to pivot this, you are nominated for Best Actress in a Short, which I mean, I'm not surprised. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You deserve that 100%. And also your co-star, Daniel, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Daniel
Daniel
Nguyen.
Nguyen. Daniel
Oh,
Nguyen.
okay, Daniel Nguyen. He is nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a
I know.
Short.
I'm so proud of him. I'm so honored. First of all, anyone that wins anything in this film is a win for me too. So I'm so proud of him, and he really brought a lot of levity to what would have otherwise been a really kind of dark little short. So I'm really grateful that he brought his energy, and he was just perfect casting for the part. So I'm really happy for him.
Absolutely. And your whole ensemble, it just the look of it, everything about it was great. Can you tell me how you got Daniel on the project? How did you get these people together?
Yeah, Daniel was just a mutual friend of mine. We knew a few other people in the industry, and I followed him on Instagram, and he was so funny and just so quick-witted, and I knew that he was going to be perfect for the part. And luckily, even in the midst of a pandemic, I was like, "Hey, I know it's weird, but can you come over and do a film with me real quick?" And he came over, and he was so much fun to work with. And yeah, it all worked out. I mean, the rest of the cast and crew. I mean, I guess. Well, my boyfriend who plays Grant in the short film,
Oh,
he's my real life boyfriend.
I
And
love that.
yeah,
That's so
and
great.
he didn't have any acting experience at all. He is a musician. He's in a band called Cobra Man. That's my favorite band in the world. And but he has a lot of experience in film. He's a director himself. And so at first he was just going to be like the guy sleeping next to me in the bed. And I was like, can you just like be a warm body? And then I was like, you know what? I want to see what happens with them. And so a few days before we shot, I asked him if he would be down to learn all these lines, and he did it, and he killed it, and he won Best Actor in several other film festivals. So I'm really
Wow.
proud of him.
I'm
Um,
amazed that that's his first time. He's
I know
very
he.
good, true natural, like so
I
simple.
know.
It's
And
so good.
he ended up getting an agent out of it and everything. So I'm really proud of him.
Oh my gosh, and that's amazing for you bringing him in this world. That's so great. Congrats on both of you. Wow. So,
Thank you.
you mentioned that you filmed this during the pandemic, and before we even had this interview, you were mentioning that you filmed everything in your house, which
Mhm.
was great because you really made it seem like two different environments. I had no idea. What was it like? How long did the filming process take? What was it like, having everybody in your place?
Well, that's actually not true. We shot it in two places, but we shot the opening shot at my boyfriend's apartment, and then everything else we shot and made it look like it was two different places. And it was a lot, but I mean, we had a skeleton crew, so it was really, really hot that day. It definitely was not New Year's Day. It was in the dead of summer, and it was like a million degrees. We had to turn off the AC, and it's like direct sunlight on the room we were shooting in and all of the lights. It was like we were sweating so much. And but it was a lot of fun, and everybody was good sports about it. And also everyone had to wear masks and everything, so it was like kind of grueling, but it was only 2 days. So we did the first day here in my living room. This is the scene of the crime,
So
and
beautiful.
and then all of the porch stuff we shot here as well. And then we shot the opening shot at my boyfriend's apartment.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, we,
You
we did it.
definitely.
I couldn't believe we pulled it off in 2 days, but I mean, the editing took me a lot longer.
Hmm.
I had edited music videos and stuff before, but that's such a different medium because it's like when it comes to music video stuff, you shoot a bunch of different setups and then you just kind of cut together all the money shots. Like there really isn't a lot of uh, like the cohesiveness of the story doesn't matter as much. It's just like what looks pretty. And so this was like a different experience for me trying to keep everything in line. But I
Right.
learned a lot, and I'm just such a control freak, really. And I also
Most
like,
of us are.
I mean, I know what a
Mhm.
pain in the ass it is to have somebody like sit by you and be like, "Can you move that? And can you nudge this? And can you what about that?" You know, and I was like, I just want to spare someone else, the nightmare of having to work with me and edit with me. So I'm just going to do it myself. And I'm really glad I did. I learned so much. So.
You pulled that off. I mean, you mentioned how you learned so much. You successfully did all of these things. Do you have advice for anyone watching who wants to accomplish what you have accomplished?
Oh, I because this is just kind of like a hobby because I'm a musician, like that's my main job. I think that I had a lot less pressure on me because of that. And so, I have friends who have wanted to make or talked about making films for years and just never got around to it. And I was just like, well, I'm just gonna do it. I think that action is probably the most important thing. It's just like I didn't have a lot of money. This was a very low budget project. And I just had to start putting the pieces together, get the clay and start molding, got a skeleton crew together and made it happen. So I think just doing it, just get it done. Even if you shoot it on an iPhone, I've been in so many film festivals now and I've seen so many great films that are just shot on an iPhone. Like you don't
Right.
need a bunch of expensive stuff to make something happen. If you have a good story, that's all you really need.
I love that. And my last question for you is how you heard about the Garden State Film Festival and how's it feel to have April Kills the Vibe at the 20th anniversary this year? What's going on?
It's an honor. And congratulations on 20 years. That's really cool. Yeah, when I use Film Freeway to submit to the film festivals and stuff, and yeah, when I saw that it was 20 years of this festival, I was like, this sounds pretty cool. And I know that I'm in great company, and I'm just really honored to be a part of it. So thank you so much for having me. I wish I could be there in person so much, but I'm how it is.
Yes, yes. So working creative, we get it. And I know I said that was my last question, but I'm personally curious because this is obviously a personal story and you put so much love and honesty into it and vulnerability as well. So I want to ask you, I mean, how does it feel watching your story be told with you as the lead after all the hard work you've done? How does it feel watching yourself and April Kills the Vibe?
It feels amazing, honestly. Like it's kind of hard to watch at times, but it's also like I was so ingrained in it, in the editing and the coloring and the everything. But it feels really satisfying to just be like, okay, well, I told the story. Because that's something that I've just kind of had bouncing around in my head for a long time. So, um, I don't know. I just hope that it helps somebody else or makes somebody think. I don't know. I guess it was a little bit of a selfish project where I just was like, I just want to get this out. I just
Mm.
have a story to tell and I need to tell it. And I don't care if anybody ever sees it or not. That's why I did it. And I'm glad I did.
I'm really glad you did. I'm about to cry because I know that it is going to help people. It helped me watching it and it also is inspiring because I think people absolutely should tell stories that are close to them and stories that mean something because how many times people make films about just stories that are entertaining but ones that are entertaining but also eye-opening and personal and important to tell are the stories and the films that I love. So Bonnie, thank
Thank
you
you so much.
to
Thank you. That
you
means a
and
lot.
everyone involved. I mean, it's a beautiful film. I think you're a beautiful person and I love what you created. And I'm really happy I got to talk to you about it. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you also for sharing with me.
Mm. Well, congratulations. I
Thank
mean,
you.
yes, I'm so happy for you and everybody. Fingers crossed you and Daniel win. I'm voting for you guys and I think you guys deserve it 100%. So let me tell everybody watching how they can see April Kills the Vibe. You guys can access it online anywhere. Just virtually with our all virtual pass. But if you want to see this on the big screen, which I highly recommend, and I'm excited to come to this film screening because I want to see it on the big screen, it will be playing at the Jersey Shore Arts Center Saturday, March 26th in the film block 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. So definitely check it out. Thank you again, Bonnie. Congratulations.